I'm Tami Green, master coach, master meditator, and what I do is I help people retrain their brains. And I hope I give you some things to think about today that will change your thinking about everything that happens to you and everything that will happen in your future. Cognitive behavioral therapy teaches us cognitive behavioral. Cognitive means our thoughts, behavior means our behaviors. So what we think, we do, period, all the time. So no matter what you're thinking about, that creates the action that you take. So doesn't that make sense that you create your future with your thoughts? Also, if you've ever studied law of attraction, it has a different other spin on it, but it means the same thing. Law of attraction, for some of you guys that like law of attraction, talks about what we think actually creates energetically the future, because what happens is what we think attracts like to what we think. So what I want to talk about today is what's scary to people, and that is that we think negative thoughts, or we don't know what we're thinking, and we've maybe created some really bad situations in our life, or just things we don't prefer. I'm going to do a little exercise with you right now. I've used this with lots of my coaching clients, and this exercise will help you to understand that everything that has ever happened to you in a negative way or an unwanted way is leading you to your future. So here's the exercise. It's called Do Want. And you can replay this video after, take notes, and you can do this exercise if you don't have a pen and paper, because you're going to need a little bit of time to think through this exercise. So here it goes. What I do is I have my clients take a notebook, right? This is a notebook page, right? And they split it in half, like just fold it and crease it. And on one side, especially my clients that come to me absolutely miserable with this horrible life and usually feeling really bad about themselves, I have them write everything in their life that makes them miserable, everything they hate, everything they've ever regretted, everything that's ever done to them, basically every negative thing that they don't want in their life on this left-hand column of this paper. On the right-hand column of the paper, after they've filled up, you could fill up several pages if you want, right? Because this exercise is going to release you from all the problems and struggles of your life. So you've listed everything you don't want. On the opposite side of the paper, on the right hand, across from everything that you've listed that you don't want, you're going to list what that made you desire. Let me give you an example of something I loved with one of my clients. It was an aha moment. What she did is she came to me because she was about to get a divorce from her fourth husband. And she felt really, really bad about herself. Thanks for the love. She felt really, really bad about herself because she said she had failed marriages, right? And society would say that too. So what she did is I said, okay, that's on your left-hand corner. What's on the left-hand side of your notebook? What's on the right-hand side? What's on the right-hand side? The right-hand side is what you learned you do want from this. What did you learn you did want from this? You learned that you want to have a very successful relationship. So I want to tell you right now that every negative thing that's happened to you is to point you towards what you do want. It's just a learning experience. There are no mistakes. It's all about growing and learning. So list what you don't want. On the other side of the piece of paper, I want you to list everything you've learned from that, everything you love now, everything you desire, everything it's made you to be right now. If you've been with someone mean, you're going to want to be with someone who's nice, right? If you've been sick or if you've been out of a job, you're going to really, really desire the opposite. When you're through, I want you to fold that paper in half and tear off that left side. The right side of the paper is now who you are. That's who you are, and that's everything you want out of your life and everything you're going to have, right? Doesn't that sound good? And those are more or less your affirmations, right? That's what you're going to look at every day, and that's your blueprint for your future. Now, I talked to you a little bit about that our thoughts create our actions in reality. I'm going to give you an example of how I did this in my own life. And this is a very difficult example because I want you to see how this works in real life, in real practice, under a very difficult situation. What I want to tell you is changing your thoughts takes work. And it's very, very hard to think different thoughts, especially if we have ingrained belief systems that we've had since we've been a child. You want to keep working on your thoughts, making them better and better and better and better. And if you're thinking really negative thoughts or really destructive thoughts or bad feeling thoughts, it's going to take a while to do, and it may take you a little bit, but here's how you do it. I had a situation, I've been very forthcoming about my story, where I didn't have custody of my kids. And it was a very heart-wrenching experience, and I thought I would never, ever be happy again. I could not imagine my life without my kids. And I was severely depressed at the time. And I read this book called How to Stubbornly Refuse to Make Yourself Miserable About Anything by Albert Ellis. He's one of the fathers of a therapy called Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy. It's a long name, and it was the precursor to cognitive behavioral therapy. He wrote this book, and he really had some good little processes on how to change your thinking so you're not miserable about anything. And he said in there one thing that really struck me. He said, just find a thought that makes you feel a little bit better, just a little bit of relief. And I thought, I will never be happy again without my children. I cannot imagine being happy again. And really, it took me like 3 days of searching for some kind of thought. I couldn't think of any truthful thought. And a lot of people, when you're in distress, say, that's okay. You've heard it from me. It's a growth opportunity. Things will work out. All those things. You don't want to hear it when you're suffering. But I came up with this little thought. And the thought was, I may not ever be as happy as I once was, but I can be happy again. And that little thought was believable. It was believable to me, and it changed my thinking enough to give me just a little bit of emotional relief. And as I went through, every day I would think about a thought about this subject that made me feel just a little bit better. Because when you think a thought that makes you feel a little bit better, then a little bit later you can feel a thought that makes you feel a little bit better and a little bit better. I got to the place where I thought, I'm going to do everything I can to be the best person possible for when my kids coming back into my life. And I got to a place of peace and happiness. It wasn't overnight. This was a hard thing. And that's why I've built out this whole course for you called Retrain the Brain, because thinking through all of this isn't easy. You need tools, just like I needed that book, just like I read a lot of other books, and just like people hire a coach like me. You need a lot of tools to go through this and change your thinking, and that's what this 8-week course does that I just created. In 8 weeks, I'll help you change your thinking, get clear, get better thoughts, and you'll start to see your life really unfold in a much brighter way. So here's a little bonus I have for you for staying till the end and listening to me, because I really appreciate you like I hope you appreciate me. So here's the bonus code. It's called Success 2018. Success 2018, right? Like the year, success. All in caps, Success 2018. If you want 10% off my course, there it is. There's the coupon code. Registration closes for it Saturday at midnight, and then we're going on it. Love you all. Have a good day. See ya. Bye.